hesitation. There are 13 seconds left for party games. Liz, starting now.
I first met Clement Freud at a party, and he asked if I would participate in...
Clement Freud in challenge. The hesitation, I...
She dared let her get out what she was going to say. That's why,
I must say, she stuttered over the thought of what you were going to say. Okay, what a pity, we may never know. Perhaps as well, perhaps the series will continue. There are 7 seconds left with you, Clement Freud, to continue with party games, starting now.
My favourite party game is getting Lebanese Scrooge into a stocking fit.
Clement Freud is why you challenge.
deviation, getting Lebanese Scrooge into a stocking.
It's impossible at this particular time because he does not exist. I'll give you a point and the subject, and there are 2.5 seconds left. Party games starting now.
We're supposed to take hold of your partner's hand and keep her ear.
Well, at the end of that round, Kenneth was speaking once again, so he got the extra point. Liz Fraser crept up in the middle of that game and is now overtaken, has 1 point lead over the other 3 at the end of that round. So it really is neck and neck. Liz, your turn to begin. The subject is carol singing. Would you talk about that for 60 seconds, starting now?
Good King Wenceslas last
Kenneth will remind you...
I've challenged because deviation is not to talk about it, to sing like it.
yeah, that's
I was carol singing.
Yes, it is a very good challenge, because I did say actually talk about it, and she started to demonstrate it. What's that? She's new. So let me put it to the audience. Now, do you think, I say will you talk about it, she was demonstrating it. If you agree with Kenneth's challenge, would you cheer? And if you disagree, will you boo? And will you all do it together now? If you disagree with Kenneth, you're on the lady's side. She's new to the game, it seems very justified. So
Brainwashed all of it.
Liz gains a point and keeps the subject. There are 55 seconds left for carol singing, starting now.
When the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even brightly.
Kenneth, why you challenge?
Where were all those Anne, Chris, Anne, all those Anne.
Well, technically she was repeating herself, wasn't she? So I suppose to be fair. What?
Give it to Kenneth. I did say and.
No, I'm not going to charge any points. That's the fairest thing to do. I'm going to leave the subject with Liz Fraser, no points charged, because I'm not going to charge on ands. I think we've once before established that. 47 seconds left. Carol singing, Liz, starting now.
It is not generally known that I have the most exquisite voice with the range of...
Clement Freud challenge that time. Hesitation. I agree, Clement, you gain a point and the subject, and there are 42 seconds left. Carol singing, starting now.
When the mince pie is wheeled in on the trolley, we hold hands and sing carols, especially carol. She...
Liz Fraser challenge. Why?
Well, I thought he said Carol twice, but the first one was actually Carol.
This is what happens. He tries to be clever.
Yes.
The first person in often gets stuck. So I disagree, because it was carols, and now it's a girl called Carol. Clement gets another point, and there are 33 seconds left for carol singing, Clement, starting now.
The holly and the ivy and good and king and Wenceslas and many other lovely carols and...
Liz Fraser, why do you challenge?
Carols.
Yes, well done. It wasn't the hand.
Well done.
There are 22 seconds left for carol singing, Liz, starting now.
And because I have this marvellous voice, I am asked every Christmas time to go singing with the choirs which are going around the various districts in our area. And I go armed with a flask of gargle water and sing Once in Royal David's City, Silent Night, Good King Wenceslas the...
Derek Nemo challenge. Yes, because you sang that before.
Yes, I did sing that.
So Derek got it very clever just before the whistle. There's half a second to go. Carol singing. Starting now.
I have a lovely new
The audience here all went, but you see, it must be fair in the game, because Ian Messler hadn't actually blown the whistle, so Derek was in. And it's even more exciting because we have 3 leaders all together, and Kenneth is behind the other 3 at the end of the night.
Well, as Herodotus said, what is good without my saying so.
Yeah. But you still have a chance to redress the balance, Kenneth. And the subject now is Clement Freud. It's your turn to begin, Clement, and the subject is punch. And would you talk to us for 60 seconds, punch, starting now?
If you take equal quantities of cinnamon, clove and nutmeg and grate all these and dissolve it in a pint of water, adding a pound of sugar, you get the most excellent basis for a punch, especially if you allow this liquid to boil for an hour or more and then strain it through a cloth into another vessel, adding to this wine whenever you feel like it, because the important thing about punch is the wine therein must not boil.
Derek Nimmo challenge. Yes, we've had wine twice. So Derek gains a point and the subject,
I wanted to hear
and
the
there
recipe.
are 30 seconds left for punch, Derek, starting now.
In the middle of the Victorian era, a very different change came into comedy, right?
Clement Freud's challenge, one.
Hesitation.
I didn't notice his hesitation.
Must be the only one.
There are 26 seconds for punch, Derek, starting now.
And a magazine came into Punch. In front of it, the gentleman who performed the Julie.
Kenneth Williams got it first then. Hesitation, I agree then. So Kenneth, you get a point, and there are 19 seconds left for punch, starting now.
I received one on my nose in a barrack room in Ceylon, and I remonstrated. I said, "Here, who do you think you're knocking about? What right have you?" He said, "Look at that," and showed me his arm, on which was 3 stripes, and I had none.
Derek, would you begin the next round? And the subject is port, and there are 60 seconds to talk about it, starting now.
Well, one of the things I've never really got along with is any important stories. That's wrong, you seem to say. Because if one is in a tempest or a hurricane or a whirlwind and at sea, one would rather have...
Liz Fraser, why have you challenged?
One.
One.
No, not one.
No, not one.
It's not one.
I don't think. No points scored. Leave the subject with Derek Nimmo, and there are 49 seconds left for port, Derek, starting now.
In my fist, I'd write...
Clement Freud challenge. Yes, hesitation. This is a sad thing that sometimes little stuff again. Clement, I have to agree with a definite hesitation. You gain a point, and there are 47 seconds left for port, starting now.
What is the name given to a fortified wine made in the Oporto Valley of Portugal, where it is drunk by the English gentlemen who have for years and generations, centuries in fact, been the only people to involve
Liz Fraser, why have you challenged?
Hesitation.
No, he did keep going. He was running down a little, but he kept going. So, Clement, as I disagree with the challenge, you'll gain another point, and there are 30 seconds left for port, starting now.
This traditional smart dinner party is for the ladies to be gentlemen, and the males of the species thereafter to consume port, while their female counterparts are outside.
Kenneth Williams, why have you challenged?
Because you don't, deviation, you don't consume or you drink it. You consume. That is the act of eating, you see. You don't eat a drink. No, I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
You're not having it. You tried very hard, but I mean, if you've drunk something or eaten it, it has been consumed, surely.
Oh.
So, I'm afraid to be fair to the game, I have to disagree with the challenge. Leave it with Clement Freud and say there are 18 seconds left for port. Clement, starting now.
On board ship, port is the left-hand side, where starboard is the right. And many a sailor has gone to the wrong place simply because of a failure to acquaint himself with this simple form of direction. While drinking liquid,
We have no more time, so that is the end of this week's contest, if you can call it that, because we like to call it a game. And I must point out right away that Derek's last challenge wouldn't have made any difference to the final result. It's a very fair one, a very interesting one, because equal in second place we had our guest for this week, first time, very good, Liz Fraser. But by a couple of points only, we have the winner once again this week, Clement Freud. Hope that you enjoyed this particular edition of Just a Bit. All of us here would like to wish you, listening, a very, very happy Christmas. From all of us here, good Goodbye.
Chairman of Just a Minute was Nicholas Parsons. The programme was devised by Ian Messiter and produced by Simon Frick.
Kenneth Williams, Derek Nimmo, Clement Freud and Catherine Whitehorn in Just a Minute. And as the minute waltz fades away, here to tell you about it is our chairman, Nicholas Parsons.
Thank you. Thank you very much and welcome once again to Just a Minute. And it's my pleasure in this particular show to welcome for the first time to try and do battle with these three clever players of the game, Catherine Whitehorn. And once again, the rules are as before. I'm going to ask them each to speak, if they can, for just a minute on some unlikely subject, without hesitation, without repetition, and without deviating from the subject. And according to how well they do this, they will, of course, gain points or give them away to whoever may be challenging. That is the way we play, and let us begin the show this week with Kenneth Williams. Panache. Can you talk to us for 60 seconds on Panache starting now?
It's extremely fortunate that you've asked me to discuss this because nobody in this world is more appropriate. It is, of course, derived from tuft of feathers, originally worn on the plume of the helmet. Now,
Catherine Whitehorn, you have challenged. Why?
Feathers mean the same thing. I think that counts as repetition.
No, actually, Catherine. Actually, Catherine, I must explain, we only grant.
oh, she's most aggressive.
Well, she has already been warned before we started how aggressive all you three are, so she's starting right in with the right way. Catherine, I think we only give repetition. It's a repetition word, but it's a very good try, and if you're new to the game, I'm going to give her a point for that. Jolly good challenge, but leave the subject with Kenneth and say there are 43 seconds left for Panache. Kenneth, starting now.
In the sense of linguistics, nowadays it is taken to mean that which is done with a flourish, so to speak, or with nicety, great style, which of course all I do indulge, all of which is...
Clement Freud, you have challenged.
Hesitation.
Hesitation, I quite agree.
It's unfair, isn't it?
It's not a bit of it. You couldn't describe your style. It was beyond words, Kenneth. I quite understand. Clement, I agree with your challenge, so you take the subject, and there are 24 seconds left for Panache, starting now.
The culinary connotations of this word give it an accent aigu, making it panache and meaning blood panache.
Derek Nimmo, you've challenged
Tradition
one.
of panache, which is not the word on the card.
Yes, it's panache on the card and not panache. I give Derek the point and the subject, and there are 13 seconds left for panache, starting now.
How wonderfully must have been with Henry VIII on the field
Clement
of the
Freud, why did you challenge?
Repetition must.
Yes, that's true.
All right, if you're going to be as tough as that, see how much tougher you can get. It's absolutely correct, though I think a little unfair. So I must be correct within the rules of the game. Clement, you have another point. You take the subject back, and there are 11 seconds left for panache, starting now.
The panache of salad.
Derek Nimmo, why for
tradition of salad.
Yes. Yes,
You did say
I said
salad.
it earlier on.
All right. They're getting
And I said as well.
But he's not going to get 2 points for that. So there are 8 seconds left for you, Derek, to continue with panache, starting now.
As I walk down the Strand, flourishing my shillelagh, people look at me.
Clement, Kenneth Williams will challenge.
Yes, repetition, we just had that.
What the deal?
You haven't had
well,
flourish.
it's in the same context,
It
so
doesn't
you can't
matter, no. You haven't had a flourish from Derek before. So Derek keeps the subject because he gains a point because I disagree with the challenge. There are 5 seconds left for panache, Derek, starting now.
People shouting in the street say, you have nearly as much panache as Kenneth Williams. And I say, well, thank you so much.
For those of you who may not know, the whistle tells us that 60 seconds is up and whoever is speaking at that moment gains an extra point. On this occasion it was Derek Nimmo who has gained a commanding lead at the end of that round. In fact, the first round of any show, I've never seen so many points scored. So let us continue. In quiet vein, I hope. Clement Freud, your turn to begin. The subject is curing ham. Will you talk to us about that for 60 seconds starting now?
In order to cure ham, you've got to have a really thick piece of pork which is smoked. And it makes no difference whether it has mildew, blue fly, or green deposits all over it. The important thing is to get it better. And ideally, curing it is achieved by getting malt vinegar and hydrochloric acid and scrubbing away until every last trace.
Catherine White on Michael challenge.
Simply because it's beginning to make me feel sick. You can happily go on.
Well, I'm afraid that even if someone makes you sick on the show, if they haven't deviated or done any of the other crimes, I cannot award it to you, Catherine.
Being sick would be deviating, wouldn't it?
If you were sick, yes.
And for the record.
Yes.
I'm trying to explain to it.
But no, I'm afraid that it's he wasn't deviating from the subject, even though he
Well, at
wouldn't
least
feel
I've
sick.
given us a rest with him.
Yes, and we've heard from you again, which is lovely, Catherine. So, Clement gets another point, and there are 32 seconds left for curing ham, starting now.
There are many people who think that this applies to ham which is salted and put away over smoke until such time as it may be eaten and served either as gammon or bacon. And there are in Bradenham, also in Wiltshire and in Yorkshire, companies that specialise particularly in this form of delicacy. I once knew one which had scarlet fever.
Kenneth Williams, why you challenge?
Deviation, you can't know a ham.
Clement Freud looked directly at you and then, I know some hams. I've acted with some of them as well.
Disgusting.
So in that sense, if you'd had a ham couldn't have scarlet fever, I would agree, that is devious, but you challenge for knowing a ham. And you can technically, because that's the phrase you use in the theatre, so it is not deviation, I'm afraid. Clement Freud gets another point, 4 seconds left, curing ham, Clement, starting now.
We work at the Old Vic every Tuesday and Thursday in matinee.
On this occasion, Clement Freud was speaking when the whistle went, so he has jumped the lead now at the end of the second round, and Catherine Whitehorn and Kenneth Williams are trailing a little behind. Derek Nimmo, your turn to begin. The subject is dogs I know well. Can you tell us something about the dogs you know well in 60 seconds, Derek, starting
One
now?
pair of dogs that I know particularly well are made of brass and are rather lovely Adam design, and I keep them in my fireplace and rest logs on them in the winter time, particularly at Yuletide, and they give off the most wonderful glow, and I think how pretty they are. I also had a Pekingese which was given to me by my great aunt Sarah, which I liked very much indeed. Also, I remember...
Kenneth Williams' challenge, why?
Hesitation.
Well, you know, it was almost hesitation, but I think it was such a brilliant twist from saying very, very, that I don't think we could allow it, because it was so beautifully done, with such panache, that I don't think we could allow that one. But it's very close, so I disagree with the challenge. Derek gets a point, and there are 38 seconds left for dogs I know well, Derek, starting now.
A Yorkshire Terrier that ran aground on...
Clement Freud's challenge. No hesitation at all. He was keeping going all right. 31 seconds left for you, Derek. Having gained another point, dogs I know well, starting now.
Particularly the latest, I saw a wonderful great pack of hounds leaping across the turf.
Kenneth Williams, why did you challenge?
Yes, and such as dogs he knows well. We've gone through brass ones, Pekingese ones, Yorkshire Terriers, and now he's come to a pack of hounds.
Yes,
you wouldn't be well acquainted with a pack.
No, I quite agree, Kenneth.
I think it's just going a bit far, dear.
I agree with your challenge. I don't believe that Derek could be well acquainted with a whole pack of hounds. So, Kenneth, you gain a point, and thanks for that point. Well done. And there are 26 seconds left for dogs I know well, starting